Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to Red Storm Chasers. I'm Vincent. It's just me for this week, but I'll go over the win against Georgetown, the loss against UConn. We'll have an interview with Aaron Wheeler, and then we'll look ahead to our only game this week against Marquette. As I said, I got, it's an empty room here today. Got no Tim, Craig, Nick. They're all out. Nick's in Spain. Tim's not under the weather. Craig's got stuff going on. So you're just stuck with me today. That's all you got. Unfortunately for you guys, you'll have to listen to me break things down by myself. But I'll do my best. Looking at the first game of last week, it was a game against Georgetown. 79-70 victory. And I know it's not exactly what we wanted, right? It's a 9-point victory against a team that we feel like we should have done a lot better against. But to be honest, a win's a win. And with the state of things right now on this team, you take what you can get. Now, just as a reminder, Pinzone is out indefinitely, so he was not in this game, just to keep you updated on that. So, decent game for us, 50% from the field, not too shabby. 14% from three, though, that's a terrible number for us. 65% from the free throw line, seemingly about our average. +3 in the rebound battle, +4 in the turnovers. 16 turnovers, though, is a high number for us. We like to see that number much lower, and that's why the game was a 9-point game, to be completely honest, and why we saw Georgetown have leads in this game. The turnovers killed us. It's been a problem all year, and this game was no exception. We were just good enough to overcome the issue in this one. We had our normal starters for this game, so Posh, Wusu, Storr, Stanley, and Soriano. A lot of S's on our starting lineup, by the way. We got it all the way from A to W, but 3 S's in the middle. Soriano led the team, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Storr, great day for him, 15 points, 6 of 14 from the field. It's probably 44%. Good shooting day. Posh, 11 points, 4 steals, 3 assists. Another good one from him. Stanley and Wusu both had 4 points. Wusu had 5 assists. Pretty decent day from our starters. Off the bench, though, it was David Jones, 14 points, 12 rebounds. He's been spectacular since he's come back from the unfortunate passing of his father. Just routine double-digit game. This is a perfect example. Another double-double for him. Really nice to see him playing well. And he had played well earlier on in the Big East season, or I should say out of conference season right before the Big East season. And then he kind of petered down, but he's come back on strong. And it's really nice for him. I'm sure it's been a tough year for him. So seeing him play very well, I know, is really a positive for us as a team. And I think it helps build the group up. Andre Curbelo was back for this Georgetown matchup, first time in 3 games. Decent day for him, 11 points, 5 steals. So we'll take that on a first day back from being suspended for unknown reasons. I guess we'll just leave that at that. For Georgetown, it was Brandon Murray, 25 points, and Jay Heath, 16 points, but they killed us, absolutely killed us in three-pointers. 41% from 3 is what they shot against us. Tim had talked about it last week. 3-point defense is our Achilles heel. We're just terrible at it. And this one showed they made 9. Now they shot 22 of them, which is probably why they found themselves on the losing end. But 9 for 22 is still 41%. Pretty good from 3. That's a lot of threes, though, so you're living and dying there. And they did hit a good amount of them, but they just didn't hit enough to get over the hill. This was a game where it was scary at times. Georgetown had leads. Georgetown had decent-sized leads. But we stayed gritty. We got back in it, came away with a victory. Yeah, I know it's not what we want, right? It's not what we wanted this whole season to go. But at the end of the day, you take it as the victory it is, and you say, we got the job done. We didn't have an embarrassing loss to Georgetown. We didn't really have that many embarrassing losses this season. So, you can't be too upset with the victory when you get one. It's kind of a classic week for St. John's here at the end, right? 1-1 again. And this was our one win. That loss virtually locked Georgetown into the 10 or 11 seed. Had they beaten us, they would have had an opportunity to catch Butler. But things have shifted since then, and that's out of the question. So we are locked in the 8-9 game. I'll get to that a little bit later, but just to keep that in mind, we are going to be locked in that 8-9 matchup in the Big East tournament. This was our 7th win in conference play, so brings us to 7-11 at the time. And we really did expect a lot more than this right? Mike Anderson talked about this is his best team he's ever had. This is a really talented team. We knew last year we sort of overperformed, and we're hoping to carry on that this year, and it just didn't happen. This team just never meshed together, and it's unfortunate. But we've got our seventh and what may be our last conference win of the season in this Georgetown win. So you take the victory and you celebrate it as best you can. The other game last week was the unfortunate loss to UConn, 95-86. This game was Saturday at Madison Square Garden. I have to say, before I get into the game, I was extraordinarily disappointed by our fans showing at this game. I was there. It was a packed crowd. It certainly was. The upper level was mainly sold out. And I would say it was like 75% UConn fans. That's pathetic. I mean, it's just flat pathetic. There's no reason that this game should not have been well attended by St. John's fans and should not have been loudly cheered for by St. John's fans. They had UConn chants at times in the arena. It was disgraceful, to be completely honest. And it falls on the fans, right? It falls on you guys. There's no reason you shouldn't have come out to this game. We beat UConn earlier in the year when they were 6th in the country. I know this team has not been playing that well. I know there's no NCAA tournament in sight. I know this team is disappointing, and it's a bit in disarray, but you got to come out and support the team, right? You can't just complain from afar. That's not really how this works. You got to come out and you got to support it. Listen, in good or bad, because if you're not supporting them when we're not doing well, then what makes the winning feel good? If you only celebrate when we're winning, sure, anybody can do that. That's what bandwagons fans are for. But you need to be out there and support this team, and I know that can be tough. But this is a Saturday game at noon. It's a great time. There was no reason there should have been as many UConn fans over St. John's fans. So that was my one gripe with the fandom. It was disgraceful to sit there, and kind of painful to sit there and have to deal with all the UConn nonsense going on in the arena. And I'm sure it hurt our players. I'm sure they weren't happy about it. And just something to think about. Obviously, it's our last game of the year, so we won't get back till next year, and it's unlikely the Big East tournament will be heavy St. John's fans, as the tickets are mainly dispersed amongst the teams, but just some food for thought there in this offseason. Plan on coming out next year and supporting this team, up or down, because, tell you the truth, college basketball is a unique sport in that maybe not a unique sport, I shouldn't say that, but is a sport where fans can have a really large impact. Loud fans can have a really large impact. And when you don't have that, it's to your team's detriment. It really helps having a loud crowd who's backing you, who's supporting you. You can build momentum off the crowd in college basketball. And, that didn't happen in this game in particular. A game, by the way, we could have won. We lost by 9, and I know at points it was bigger. But we went on a run in the second half, and it wasn't loud enough to get them over to a point where they were constantly battling. We also had some bad calls, which I'll talk about in a second. But, had the crowd been in it for St. John's, I think maybe the outcome of the game could be different. Just my 2 cents. All right, let's take a look at the numbers. Again, I'll talk about that terrible technical call coming up. Anyway, 95-86, a loss. We shot 46% from the field, 31% from 3, not terrible. 4 of 13, that's actually pretty good. 76% from the free throw line. We got out-rebounded, -6 rebound margin. That's not good. We last game against UConn, when we beat them, we did a really, really good job working on Clanigan and Sonogo. This game, we didn't, and that's probably why we lost. +1 on the turnover margin, though. Actually better this game than we did against Georgetown, only 13, which is right around our average and pretty good. I mean, 13 turnovers is pretty low. That was a positive number. The starters for this game were Alexander, Wusu, Storr, Naiwi. It was senior night, so shout out to Naiwi. And Soriano, obviously his senior night as well. AJ Storr led the way, though. 20 points, 7 of 15, 47% from the field. He is by far our best shooter, and our lack of use of him really makes me question what we're doing. We should be putting the ball in AJ Storr's hands way more than we are. There was a stretch in the second half, probably 6-minute stretch, where he didn't play. What are we doing there? That makes absolutely no sense to not have him in the game. Like I said, he shot 47% in this game. Get him out there. Get him shooting. He's a guy who can really score. He came on so well in the second half. He was, obviously he's our best recruit since Shamari Pons on numbers, and it showed. He performed extraordinarily well to the point where next year, if he stays, he's going to be perhaps the key offensive player for us on this team. Let's get him going. Let's continue to get him opportunities to get game action, which is only going to better him in the long run. Posh Alexander showed up at Madison Square Garden as he always does. 18 points, 5 assists. He also had a great day shooting. 7 of 12, 58% for him on the day. Those are great numbers for Posh. Even more so than we really expect him to score. But he showed up in a big spot when we needed it. And it didn't pay off because we walked away with a loss. Soriano had another double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds. Wusu, 6 points. Naiwe, like I said, got the start, 2 points for him. David Jones, though, 15 points off the bench, just getting the job done. 6 rebounds. I mentioned it in the Georgetown conversation. He's really come on strong at the end here, and it's nice to see. And this is the David Jones we expected, right? We expected David Jones out there, 15 points a game, double digits always, in the mix for rebounds, playing big minutes, and that's what we got in this UConn game. Curbelo also back again, 8 points for him. For UConn, Jordan Hawkins had 20 points. Sanogo had 18, like I talked about, killed us down low. And Clanigan, 5 blocks. But last game we fouled him out, where we got fouls on him early, so he was out, and then eventually fouled him out. And Soriano did a great job against Sanogo. That didn't happen this time. Clanigan stayed in. It was a problem for us the whole game, and it allowed Sanogo to open up and, dominate Joel a bit more. And it's, I'm not hammering Soriano. Sanogo's a great player, and he did such a great job on him the first time. It was unlikely for him to repeat this time, but it was frustrating to see because I know, we know he can play better. We know we can shut these guys down because we did. And I think that's why this loss stings a bit more, even more than the Creighton loss 2 weeks ago, because we beat these guys in Connecticut. We knew, okay, this is a team we can beat, so let's go out there and beat them. And it just didn't come to fruition. We played a decent game. We just didn't do enough. We didn't stop them enough. We didn't score enough to get in a position where we were in striking distance at the end of the game. One thing we do have to talk about in this UConn game is the officiating, and I don't like to hang things on that, but there's a key moment in this game that I think particularly turned the tides. Okay, so St. John's is on a run. It's in the second half. All of a sudden, there's a timeout. Wusu's walking back. Newton, who's the player on UConn, has the ball, and they bump into each other. Wusu probably throws a little bit more of an elbow, but Newton wasn't getting out of the way. Refs called double technical. Now, they had called a double technical early in the game as well against Newton and Naiwe. So that's one technical. This would be Newton's second technical, right? He called a double technical. That's 2. You get ejected for that. Okay, that would have really been a key moment in the game here. So technical's called. Cool. Now it's in a commercial break. Danny Hurley's going absolutely berserk, freaking out, blah, 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 like he does. Okay. The refs then go back and take away not both technicals. They only take away Newton's part of the technical. That's absurd, by the way. If you watch that video, there's no possible way you could say that only Wusu deserved a technical foul on that. It either should have been nothing or it should have been a double tech. The problem is Danny Hurley cried and the refs got scared, and because of that, they took away Newton's foul so they wouldn't kick him out of the game. That's what happened on that play. They got scared of Danny Hurley, so they didn't kick Newton out of the game. You either call that nothing, or you stay with your call and you stick with a double technical. Under no scenario can you remove one part of a double technical. But again, that's the wrong call then on the court, by the way. That means you made the wrong call, which, by the way, tick a box in the refs making the wrong call again. It was ridiculous, and it severely changed the game. We had momentum. It was going to be their ball. It was a timeout, but now they got to shoot a free throw and get the ball. 2 free throws and the ball. It was ridiculous because Mike Anderson got a tech. That's why they got 2 free throws. Mike Anderson then got a tech. By the way, Mike Anderson getting a technical in this game is absurd. Even more absurd than taking away Newton's. Danny Hurley screaming and crying on the court, yelling in the referee's face, and Mike Anderson gets one? And by the way, Mike, you get your money's worth. Because I was there, I couldn't tell you were yelling. If you're going to get a technical, get a technical. Get a real technical. Don't get a bullshit technical because the guy's upset, the ref's upset, so he calls a technical on you. Once he does, then you go off on him more. You want to see that passion, and I appreciate Mike Anderson getting the technical, sure, good job. But I want you making a real point of it. Particularly in a heavy UConn crowd, make a real point of getting the technical. I know it's a big criticism, and people will say you're riding on Mike Anderson too hard, and everyone hates him. I haven't hated him, for the whole season. I think he's made some bad coaching choices. I don't hate him though. I mean, I've wanted him to succeed the whole time he's been here. I want him to succeed now. It's ridiculous that they got away with taking away Newton's technical, and it changed the face of the game. From then on, UConn went back, took a lead, and that was kind of killed our momentum. It was a killing moment, and it was frustrating as hell to be there and watch it happen. And we certainly deserve better. We deserve better refereeing than that. Even on TV, I turned on my phone in the arena, and they were saying, well, and it's Clark Kellogg and Ian Eagle. It's not guys who don't do games regularly. Yeah, that's not. I don't really agree with that call. That should have been nothing, or it should have been left alone. These guys are professional basketball guys. I mean, tell me a bigger face of basketball than Ian Eagle, right? I mean, Clark Kellogg is, these are notorious basketball guys. They know it. They know what they're talking about. When they say nothing's there, or there's no double tech, or there should have been a double technical, they're right. And so it's not just me complaining. And it really changed the face of the game. From there, the UConn was able to take back control, and we weren't able to get back, despite some good plays from guys. And it's rough, like the rest of this season, it was a disappointment. So that puts us 17-13 on the year, 7-12 in conference as we head into this last week of Big East play. Before we get to looking ahead to this last week of the regular season, we have former St. John's forward Aaron Wheeler joining the podcast.
Hey, everybody. We're here with Aaron Wheeler. Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. No problem. I'm good. Appreciate you guys having me.
Great. No, we're happy to have you on, and it hasn't been too long since you've been in the Red Storm uniform, but it's still good to hear from you again. So we love that. So let's go right into it. Coming out of high school, you went to Brewster, right? So
yes,
how did you pick Brewster? What made you go there? What was your thought process in that?
Yeah, so I actually went to another prep school before that. So I was at St. Andrew's School in Rhode Island for 2 years before that. And before that, I was at Catholic school in my hometown. And I used to play baseball as well. And so I was missing out on AAU. I really didn't start playing AAU until freshman year, summer. And once I started playing, I was seeing guys my age and stuff getting these offers and everything. And then just being familiar with them, I realized a lot of those guys were going up to prep school. So my brother actually went to I went to the high school, to the Catholic school for 1 year. I was a freshman, he was a senior, and he actually did a post-grad year at Cheshire Academy. And we kind of saw how it helped his recruitment, or even just growth as a person, growing responsibility and stuff like that. So my dad was actually trying to get him to go to prep school before that, but he wanted to stay at our high school. So seeing that, I did 1 more year at Trinity Catholic, and then I went to St. Andrew's School, like I said, did 2 years there, and the opportunity came to transfer to Brewster. That's such a New England, that's such a prestigious prep school. A lot of NBA guys have went there, and obviously that's the end goal. So I felt we took a visit up there. They have a beautiful campus. Jason Smith was very transparent. He was it's going to be a lot of guys here. It's not going to be guaranteed minutes. And I felt that stage of my career it was beneficial for me to go head to head with guys, other high level athletes, basketball players on a daily basis. I felt honestly, that was when I was at Brewster, that was tougher than the games, to be honest. Like
Wow.
playing against my teammates. So yeah, I think that was a very important like year in my life. I was only there 1 year, but it helped me a lot. So
Yeah. No, definitely. Like sometimes playing against tough competition is good, right? Steel hardened steel kind of thing.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And then you went on and you went to Purdue, right?
Yep.
So what was that? What was that like? What was that decision process? And how did you feel about that?
Yeah, so I was a little I mean I had a good amount of offers, but I felt like I could have had more. And so after live period July, this is like right before I went to Brewster, I was hearing from a couple other schools, and Purdue was one of them. I was talking to one of the assistants, Jack Owens, and they coordinated. So Coach Painter came to see me at Brewster. He really liked my game. I spoke to him for about 20 minutes after he saw us play, and then I set up a visit with them. And my thinking was kind of I didn't want to stress my whole senior year, so I was trying to not rush my process, but like once I kind of felt confident about a school, I wanted to just commit so I could play freely, enjoy my senior year, not have to like press every game, like, oh, there's teams watching and things like that. And I think it helped me even have a better year than I would have. But so I went on a visit to Purdue. My family was out there, and it's a great academic school, great basketball program. And that was big with my family was my parents always preach school first. So to get a school that was great academic school as well was kind of the goal. We went up there. They were showing a lot of love, treated us like family. I just thought it was the right fit. So yeah, both academically and athletically. So
Yeah, I mean, talking about your family, you have your father who played at Manhattan, your uncle played at Yale, your
yeah,
brother played in a smaller school in the Boston area, I believe.
yeah, Bentley University. Yeah,
So, at what point did you and your brother start to be up on your dad and your uncle in one-on-one?
it was it was my dad. The thing with him, he couldn't move. Like he was he was always limited in moving. Like he wasn't running up and down with us, but he always could shoot. So we used to do shooting games, and like I would say, probably like eighth grade, like I started to like be able to shoot with him, and he was like, okay, and that's when I started growing as well. So I think around like eighth grade freshman year of high school is when he kind of saw I was passing him up shooting. So
So,
So you were at Purdue then for 4 seasons. You redshirted a year, and then you were there for 3 years, right?
yep.
Um, and you guys made the tournament. So how was that playing in the tournament?
It was like best experience I probably had playing basketball. Like when my redshirt freshman year, we made it to the Elite Eight, and like the environment was just crazy. So that was a really fun experience. I was happy I was able to go through that.
That's
what
awesome.
was the first time like playing at the XL Center for you?
Oh, that was dope too, because that was I hadn't played in Connecticut in so long. So for it to be the first time back in Connecticut was in the tournament was kind of special. And then like a lot of like I had like the ticket list for that. It was literally like 60 names, like all my cousins, because my family lives in New York, so they came up. And I had people from my hometown, so it was crazy.
So, with your dad going to Manhattan, you have family in New York.
Mhm.
Before you get to campus at St. John's for your senior year, any St. John's love before that?
Oh yeah, so like I mean, I essentially because people ask me like I stand from Connecticut, and they're like, "Oh, so you grew up a UConn fan?" And I was like, "Nah, honestly, I didn't because UConn's literally like 2.5 hours from me, so we never like went up there for games and stuff." But like, so my dad, we always used to go to St. John's because Norm Roberts grew up with my dad, so we used to go to all the camps, and like we were at all the camps in the summer. Like I still going back, like when I went there, I used to FaceTime my brother, like, damn, this is where we used to play outside. So it was crazy. But yeah, I grew up St. John. Honestly, I grew up a St. John's fan. We used to go to the Garden games. So yeah,
That's awesome.
It's
So
yeah.
kind of it's crazy that you're doing camps there, and there's a chance that you and Julian and Justin
Oh,
Champagne
could have been
bumped
there
into each
together.
other. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy. I probably might have ran into him when I was there.
So going into your I guess redshirt junior season, you decided to leave Purdue. So what was some of that thought process and wanted to come to St. John's and leaving? What drew you to St. John's from Purdue?
Yeah, so I mean it was a tough decision because like I love the school Purdue, but I just felt like for my basketball career, I was just trying to take a bigger step. I mean, we were winning, and I just felt like I felt like I wasn't maximizing my potential in the role I was in, and it was kind of a mutual agreement when I talked to Coach Painter with no hard feelings. I still talk to them, and then so with the St. John's piece, I was talking to a handful of schools, and I want to say, I don't even think St. John saw me in the transfer portal or something like that. And then my dad, he obviously is from Queens, and I guess somebody mentioned something to Van Macon and called my dad up. He's like, "Yo, is your son in the transfer, blah, blah, blah." And immediately they had Coach Anderson call us. And then Coach Anderson also recruited me at a height when I was at Brewster. He was one of the coaches that came to see me play at Brewster when he was at Arkansas. So I already had a relationship with him, was familiar with his play style. And like once they got in the mix, it was kind of like a no-brainer for me.
Nice. Nice. It's especially nice, I'm sure, to be home, closer to home with your
Yeah.
family and friends could come more often.
Yeah, exactly. That was a big factor. Like most of my family is either right in Long Island in Queens or in Connecticut. So I was around family my whole year there.
So what would you say the biggest difference was in playing in the Big Ten and then playing in the Big East?
I would say like the pace. Obviously, like with my Coach Anderson style, like we play up and down, but just like each of the teams in general, like in the Big Ten, obviously they have a lot of good big men and throw it in the post a lot. So the biggest difference I saw was just like the pace. Like we got up and down a lot more on a game to game basis in the Big East.
So what was your favorite St. John's memory while you were with the team?
Well, one of them was probably that game at the Garden against Nova. I wish we came out with the win, but like at the end when we was coming back, like the crowd was very electric. That was a great experience in the Garden because like I mean, I'm not from New York, but like I grew up watching the Knicks, St. John, so like to have a moment like that in the Garden was really that was cool.
Yeah, 31 points, 6 threes you made.
That was a great experience.
Yeah.
So did you prefer to play home games at the Garden or at Corner-Seca?
I feel like both of them have their benefits. Like, because I like just playing in the Garden because I never played it. Like that past year was like my first time like being able to play in the Garden. I never played in high school or anything, so I always like just felt it was special to play in the Garden. But I think like the crowd wise, like energy and the Carnesecca, because it's a little smaller, packs it in. So I feel like we had a little more of a home court advantage in Carnesecca.
No, for sure. So, as once you came to St. John's, towards the beginning of the year, it took some time for you to get comfortable, but then once you got into Big East play, it really clicked and you were just on fire for all of Big East play.
Yeah.
It was a sight to see, to be honest. You were everywhere. You were making shots left and right. And how do you think that turned around for you?
I mean, I would be honest, like it was always weird because like I was playing really well in practice and stuff, and then it would come to the game. I don't know if Coach Anderson didn't like trust me all the way, or just like he was trying to bring everything out of me. Like he always said it, like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get it out of you. I'm gonna get it out of you." I'm like, "Bro, just play me." I was just like, "Bro, play me." But I think like really what like set it off was it was right before conference play and COVID hit, and a couple of our guys went down, and then like we came back and we only literally had like 7, 8 guys available to play. And I started that game. I think, or it might have been my second game starting. I started that pit game, but still didn't play much. We played DePaul and I played like 28, 30 minutes. I only had like 5 points, 5 rebounds, but like I played well. And then from that moment on, I think the next game we still had a couple guys out. And then the next game, I don't know how much I had. I think it might have been I think the next game was at Providence and I played well again. Might have came off the bench, but from that point on, like once I got the opportunity to play like those 25 plus minutes and like got comfortable, I think it just like, and like I think I gained coach's trust. Then I just was like, all right, that set it off, and then I just kept stacking like good games on good games, and it just
You took off. You really
yeah.
did. So who are you closest with on the team, on the St. John's team?
Because obviously I was older last year, so
Sure.
so like a lot of guys were still younger. I was cool with everybody, but like I would say I was closest with because I roomed with Steph Smith, so I was close with him. We used to get food and stuff a lot all the time. Montez, Mathis. So like those were like probably my two close guys, just because we were similar in age. But
Right.
like I was cool with everybody. Like I was cool with Joel as a clown. We always used to joke around. Dylan, Dresa, even Jules. Obviously, Jules was a little more to himself because he had his girl. But like in the locker room and stuff, we was always we were pretty close.
So I know you were in only the Big East for a year. What was the team you disliked playing the most, or I don't say you disliked the most?
Disliked and also just liked playing was UConn, just because I felt it was a little personal, like because they never really recruited me, so I kind of took that a little personal.
100%.
Yeah, so I like playing them, or yeah, I like playing them. I honestly, team I probably disliked the most was Seton Hall. I feel like that was more of our like get up game because I felt like they even from the year previous, they like Posh used to say like, yeah, coach, I think they played them in the Big East tournament and they were kind of talking toward the end. So like we kind of got up for that. That's I think the second time we played them in that on their campus. We got up for that game.
So talking about when you played in the was it Walsh Gym?
Yeah,
I think?
Walsh Gym.
So
Yep.
when Seton Hall was shooting free throws, did you hear a high pitched scream?
Yeah.
So that was Nick from our podcast.
Yeah.
That was him because
Really?
so he was the head manager for St. John's for 2 years.
Yeah.
He went to Seton
At the
Hall.
time.
He went to Seton
Wow.
Hall Law, so he got a
Yeah.
ticket as a Seton Hall student. But he was
Oh,
wearing decked out
wow.
in the stand section as all with St. John stuff on screaming at the top of his lungs. So that was
Yeah.
him.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
He's like the dirty looks he got that entire night was he said will last a lifetime.
That was That the setup in that was like a but they did pack it out pretty well, and like the atmosphere in there was it was pretty cool, like how because it was so loud. It was like a small pack. What is it, like 1,000 people fit in there maybe?
Yeah, it's something
Not
really
even
small.
not even. So
It's
it was
really like
like
it's not even really like a gym. It's like a
yeah. I think the girls might play there, but like that it's like smaller than most high schools.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good atmosphere over there.
It's interesting you said Seton Hall because I feel like I guess going into this, we kind of ask everybody that. It's kind of what our standard question. But Seton Hall is like the one that comes up the most, and I think going into that, I didn't know that was going to be the case, but that is 100% the case. I think every guy we've talked to from every era has been like Seton Hall. That's the team.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I don't know if it's like technically our biggest rival, but I just feel like the New York, New Jersey, it's like always gonna be a little extra something in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Jarvis era, the Lavin era, the
Yep.
Norm era, they all hate Seton Hall.
Yeah.
So, what's a piece of advice or knowledge that you got from it could be from Coach Anderson or from Coach Painter while you were there that's really stuck with you throughout your career?
Yeah, I think a big thing with Coach Painter, like you see it now with the team they have, like it's not always like the most. They usually don't have the most talented teams, but like he teaches people to like buy into your role, just to like basically sacrifice for winning. And I feel like that's important. Even at like the level I'm at now, if I'm scoring 20 points a game, it might not be as valuable as if I'm doing other things to win. Because like if I'm trying to get to the NBA, and if I say I'm on the Bulls, I'm not taking 15 shots a game. I'm on a team with DeRozan and Zach LaVine. So like just doing little things that like could keep you on the floor. Like even right now, I'm not shooting it well, but I'm still like in the mix in the rotation because I'm guarding really well, doing other things, like just doing the little things that keep you on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So having been to both Purdue and St. John's, do you feel more associated with one of them or the other? Like I know you finished with St. John's, obviously, but you spent more time at Purdue. Do you feel, is there a sense or is it like more balanced in terms of just like kind of feeling representing them both?
It's kind of like a little bit equal, like because it's crazy. I still get like a lot of love from Purdue. Like even though I did graduate, so I'm alone, but like I did transfer. So like I've had teammates that transferred and they don't like they could care less about them, but they still show me love. I was like good energy and stuff like that around the locker room. So like I didn't have any hard feelings with nobody. But so they still show me love. But then like St. John's, it's like I finished there. So it kind of feels like I don't know, it's kind of split. I think it's split.
No, that's completely understandable.
Yeah. Which is I'm because like they're both I do my best like to network. So I'm glad I could still have those connections from Purdue and St. John's. I think it will be helpful in the future, you know.
For sure. For sure. And now talking a little bit about that, actually, connection wise and business wise. So going through your last year, there was obviously the NIL became a bigger
Mm-hmm.
thing. So how did you navigate that? And I know you ended up with a Wilson deal. Is that right?
Yeah,
How did
yeah.
that come about, and how did you do that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't take advantage of NIL stuff as much as I should have. I kind of like my thinking, like I wish I didn't, but like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just focus on basketball because if I play well, the money will come, blah blah blah. But like the money is there, like while you're in college, so you might as well take advantage of it. But the Wilson deal, one of my guys that's like basically like he has a lot of young players in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area that he'll work out in the summer. We used to do open gyms with him and stuff. And he had a connection with someone at Wilson, so it was like a bunch of us that he was able to get a little marketing deal for with their because they opened up a new store up in the city. So that was just like a kind of like a one time thing. But yeah, that's how that came about. I just knew somebody.
And so then the season didn't end the way we wanted it to end, obviously. The Villanova loss in the Garden was obviously heartbreaking. Can you take us through that a little bit in the Big East tournament, how that all went down? I mean, I know you don't want to necessarily relive it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. So like as much because I think we went up as much as like 17 in the first half. And I'm saying the whole time, like every time I would get in, I'm like, they're gonna come back. Just like they're gonna make a push. Cause like I was trying to just keep guys focused. Like I'm like, bro, we know we played them. Like we know they're gonna come back. They're not gonna just fold. So like once they started coming back, we weren't really surprised. Um, but I just felt like, oh, I don't know, we were so close. So, but like I knew they like I'm happy we played lights out in the first half. Jules came out on fire. Posh was playing well. But when they started making that push, it was just like we couldn't find an answer. And we did. We had a chance at the end. What they called that foul, right?
well, of course, it was Villanova. So with
Yeah.
2 seconds to go, all of a sudden there's a whistle on a play that I'm sure no one else
What
in
we
would get.
were we was it tied or we were up one?
I think up one, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
that's crazy. So I mean, I think we played well enough to win, but obviously we didn't. But yeah, that one hurt because I felt like we would have gained a lot of momentum from that. Um, well, I think we might have to win two more games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and it would have been what was it, Providence Creighton next or something?
Providence Creighton, I believe, was next. Yeah. And you've been the first St. John's team to make it a Friday, I think, in like 20
Since
years.
2000.
Really? Wow.
So it would
Oh
have been
my,
I can tell you there would have been pandemonium in the stands if
oh
that
my gosh.
but
Nah, that like the energy for like the beat. I say that we played in the Garden during the year, but like the energy during the Big East tournament was ridiculous. Like that game was nuts. Oh, that was
yeah.
oh, damn. Yeah, if we won that, that would have been crazy.
It would have been. And then it would have been, it certainly would have been because I know that Friday night was already packed. Would have been as crazy as it was on Thursday. It would have been as more packed with St. Johnson on
Yeah,
Friday. But what are you going to do? Sometimes the breaks don't
yeah,
fall and, you put it all on, leave it all on the court and sometimes it doesn't work. But what are you going
yeah.
to do?
So I ran into you at the Butler game
Mm-hmm.
in the Red and White Club. We were talking about your G League time and
Mm-hmm.
Summer League, but you got to witness that game against Butler.
Mm-hmm.
We dominated them. We did have sloppy moments. We did
Yep.
lose people on defense, and we just lost to them at
Mm-hmm.
Hinkle. Uh, is there anything you can see from this team this year or like advice that you see that like you can kind of give because the team we have talent.
Yeah.
We just need that run to
Yeah,
get,
nah.
get
And it's like as crazy like as bad as the season's going, like it's still a little bit of hope just because we know they're capable of like going on a run. Like, what does it take? 4 games in the Big East tournament? Like, it's
Yep.
doable. I feel like the Big East is there's no like clear cut. Like Xavier's been playing well. I think Creighton's playing a lot better, but there's no like clear cut favorite. So it's still doable. I just feel like they just gotta be a little more consistent. I feel like in that Butler game at home, they were dominant, pushing turning them over and things like that. And it just feel, and I think a big part of it like is like they'll go on these like just terrible lapses like throughout the game where it's like a 11-0 run, or like I was watching this, it was a while ago, but they were playing at Providence and we're up like 9, like 4 minutes left in the first half, and then they cut it to like 3 by halftime or something, or they might have went down. And then like still like pushing into the second half, they went on like the 8-0 run. So it's just like you gotta be able to like, I don't know what it is, but like just be able to like stand through adversity, like upstand those runs and things like that. Try to limit those, and I think just be consistent throughout the game, a little more consistent throughout the game, where it's like, yeah,
Yeah. The Butler loss that just happened, we didn't score a field goal
yeah,
in the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds, I
mm-hmm,
believe.
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
When we talked to Sean Evans, he brought up that he sees the team as not trusting one another on defense. And
mm-hmm.
that's how people end up missing their targets when they switch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And Julian brought
like
up discipline.
yeah, I think that's a big thing too. Just like I think it's linked in with just like they try to play a little smarter, like with the discipline is like say it's 4 or like because they were up in that late in that game. They're up 4 minutes left. Just like slow the pace down. Try to get a good shot. You know, I know we play up and down fast, but like moments like that, just try to milk the clock a little bit, get a good set, move the ball, try to get a shot up. And like, I don't know. I think that would help just if they can control the clock, game and score a little better toward the end of the game. That was our problem. I think that was a little bit of our problem last year too, because we lost so many close games that I think we really should have won. Like we should have won. It was a couple of them with bad luck, but I think we should have won at UConn. We should have won. Yeah, we should have won. We really should have beat UConn twice. We lost them in the Garden. It was a little like they stretched it up, but we were up like 6 or 7 with like 5 minutes left. We should have beat Seton Hall in the Garden. So it's just sometimes time management. I think we could definitely get better at down the stretch. I think that would make up for a lot of faults.
So now after the season ends last year, you made the decision to move on from college and go to your professional career. So what went into that process, that decision process?
Yeah, I think like I'm grateful for Coach Anderson because he gave me the opportunity to like showcase my ability, and I just felt like, especially in Big East play, like I was able to do that, and I just kind of wanted to take advantage of the momentum I had, because going through some of the pre-draft process, it was like a lot of questions, like like they questioned, like, oh, we saw you do it this year. Like what happened at Purdue? So like I felt like I took some of that feedback and just went into the workouts I did get to like show that like the St. John's me is more the like that's more so it's not like a fluke. That's more me than what I was at Purdue. So I just felt like it was the right time to leave school or just be done with school, just to take advantage of some of the momentum I built this past year. And definitely, I don't regret it. I feel like it's always been a little bit of a slow grind for me wherever I go, but I think it's working out. It's definitely working out for me.
So you get into you get into summer league.
Mm-hmm.
You're with the Heat. They just are not giving you anything.
Yeah.
How frustrating was it seeing that, practicing and just not getting on the court?
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating because I was already under the radar. Like I thought I did really well in a handful of my work. I think I had 5 total. Did well in most of them. And the Heat was actually my last one did well with them, and so they called me for summer league, and it was frustrating just because I try not to get too high and low about things like that, just because I can't really control it. But it was frustrating because I felt it was like a great opportunity to show people like I do belong, because I was kind of under the radar, even though I did have a good year last year. I was still under the radar, and I just felt like, yeah, it was like a not a missed opportunity, but like I just didn't get a chance to really showcase anything at all. So it was frustrating, but
And then and then you were drafted third overall, right, in the G League draft.
yeah,
So
yeah,
got a little
hmm
recognition there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and now you're with the Windy City Bulls.
yeah.
So how's the season going so far?
It's going well. So like, yeah, I started on Greensboro, and kind of similar to summer league, like just wasn't really game. I can't say that. I did get a so we had a lot of injuries early on, so I was getting the opportunity to play, but I just wasn't like I was not shooting the ball well at all. So like I thought I was doing really well on defense and stuff like that, but uh I wasn't really like producing offensively. I had a limited role and stuff like that, but still like I was missing shots I should make and things like that. So like weeks go by, I wasn't playing much. I kind of like expected it. Like guys got healthy, then they ended up waiving me right before the G League showcase. So I was like, damn. And I got sent home or whatever. So I was home for Christmas, so that was a good thing. I was able to see my family, but I was just home working out. Uh, and then I think like the day might have been like Christmas Eve. My agent, because I was talking to him. I honestly, so I didn't want to just wait around at the crib for like week or like damn near months, just waiting for a team to call. Because he was saying like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a team calls you to go to the showcase, like to go to the Vegas showcase. So I was waiting on that. Nothing really happened. I was telling him like, because around this time it was like around Christmas time. I was like, yo, I'll give it like a week, maybe like a week into the new year, and then we gotta start looking at overseas options, because I wasn't just trying to be sitting on my ass. So um I was kind of like almost switching my mental to like, all right, might have to go overseas,
Right.
bite the bullet. But like Christmas Eve, he texted me, he's like, oh, you free? The GM of the Windy City Bulls and the head coach want to get on a call with you. I was like, yeah. And so I spoke to them for like a half hour. They were just kind of asking me like how I was going in Greensboro, things like that, what type of like teammate I am and things. So it was a good conversation. And then it was like, all right, yeah, we'll we'll talk to your agent, try to get back to you. If things do work out, we'll be a quick turnaround. And I was like, yeah, I'll be able to fly out whenever, whatever. So I called because I told my brother and my dad and my mom about it. And I called my brother after while I'm on the phone with him. He texts me. I think the GM texted me, was like, yeah, we're gonna have you come out the day after Christmas. I was like, oh, bet. So I was on the phone with him. I was like, because I didn't at this point. I was like, damn, I just got waived. What's next? So I
Right.
was just happy to be able to get another opportunity. And then yeah, so far it's working out. I mean, they're kind of playing at like small ball 5, but the way they do it, it's like damn near every position on the floor is interchangeable. So like I've been able to take advantage because I'm good at like playing off the ball. So like I've been manipulating like because I have bigger guys than me. I'm able to manipulate them, just get easy layups like that, creating action for other guys. And defensively, I've been doing a good job, just like hard hedging and things like that. So just trying to adapt to different situations. I think I'm doing pretty well. So
What's the hardest thing to adapt to from the college game to going to the G League, and what's that been like?
um I mean, aside from like the pace, like it's even faster than the NBA. Like the pace in the G League is ridiculous. like guys get up shots, so we 24-second shot clock. Like it's rare for the shot clock to get under 10 seconds. Like you're like you get at first. I'm surprised I'm guarding guys and they taking shots. Like that's a terrible shot, but like they really don't care because like they really want to just get up and down. So that's a big adjustment. And then just obviously I spoke on it earlier, just like in college, like I was getting, or toward the end of my St. John's career, I was getting 10, 12 shots a game. It's not like that. So you have to try to basically just find easy baskets, offensive rebounds, run out on the break, things like that. So just trying to get yourself in the flow, and always trying to be productive. And it's not always going to be scoring too. That's what I found myself, because especially at this level, it's very political. Like you might think you're better than somebody and they're playing 30 minutes, you're playing 10, 15 minutes or not playing. And they're like, you could see it like with the two-way guys or assignments, like they're kind of like getting all the plays and things like that. So I don't take it personal. I see a lot of my teammates like take it personal. I just try to stay even keel, control what I can control, and just always trying to produce. Like I just think it like I have to talk to myself. Like if I'm on the floor for like 3 trips up the court and I didn't do nothing, I'm like, all right, get a rebound. Like do something. So like I always, when I'm on the floor, I just always try to be productive or have a positive impact. So
Yeah.
just got to keep trying to stay weary of that.
Is it hard to gel with your teammates like that? Because if everybody, in the G League, you're everyone's trying to get to the NBA. Does that make it difficult to gel as a team?
Yeah, in a sense, I kind of felt a little bit of that when I was with Greensboro. It was harder. I don't know. It was harder for me to like get comfortable in that system, but I don't know. Something about here, it's like it's not. It obviously was a little different. I came in, wasn't playing like first couple games, wasn't playing much. Then when I started playing, it was like we weren't really practicing, so I was unfamiliar with the guys. But as time, like 2-3 weeks went into it, I feel like we were able to mesh pretty well. And just once, I don't know, it's all about, I feel like once, if your teammates are comfortable with you, it's like, or trusting you a little bit more, then it's easier to get comfortable just because like the trust gets built. But yeah, it can be tricky because like at this level, things change quickly. Like one day somebody will be on your team, next day. Like we had a teammate, he was actually playing in front of me when I first got here, Nick King. And like we come into practice and coach was like, yeah, a lot of you guys know we lost one of our team. I was like, I thought he got like traded or waived or something. And I'm sitting there like, oh, what happened? Because I don't think I was in the play or in the group chat or something. I think he sent a text to the group chat and I didn't see it. Everybody else knew what was going on. And he was like, yeah, he just took a job in like the Philippines. So like, damn. So then like, roles get adjusted then. And then you have assignment guys go up, two-way guys go up. So it's like always changing. Like it was like maybe like a week and a half stretch. Like I was starting like 5 games in a row. Then the assignments and stuff came down and I played like 2 minutes the next game. So it's a lot of up and down. Just trying to really just gotta stay ready for real. Yeah.
It's weird to see your box scores when you score 13, have a solid game, don't make any errors, shoot a good percentage, and then next game you're playing 3 minutes. And like, did you get hurt?
Yeah, like me. So like a lot of guys like take it personal, but like especially at this level, like you really can't control it. Like sometimes they get like my teammates will get mad at the coach or something. I'm like, honestly, it's probably not even the coach's decision to like it's probably coming from probably the Bulls front office. Like, oh, we want to see so and so play today. So like, I don't even stress it. I just know my number's called. I try to stay ready. Yeah, so it's not much I could do about that.
Some of the guys you play with on the team, like Javon Freeman Liberty, they're guys you played with against in the Big East.
Yeah.
So is that interesting? Like having both played in the Big East, is that, you talk about that, or is it just kind of you're going through the thing to get ready to move on?
Yeah, it's definitely, even when I was with Greensboro, I was with Isaiah Whaley So I used to he was on UConn obviously. So we like kind of talk trash a little, just like, but Javon couldn't say much because DePaul was terrible, so we used to always whoop them. But it was funny. Our coach, I guess, realized like, oh, y'all both played in the Big East. Y'all play each other or something. I was like, yeah, Javon gave us problems last year because he had I think 39 on us. So and but nah, he's a cool dude. It's like I know we played against each other, but I kind of root for guys that I'm familiar with, and it's like he's been killing it. This past like January, he had a great month. He had like 3 straight like 37 plus games, so he's been doing well. And I just keep up with guys that I'm familiar with. So like I know Tyrese Martin out in College Park. You know, it's a handful of Big East guys that's in the G now. Even we played a 905 team, and the kid from Creighton, Hawkins, like it's cool just seeing guys that you played against kind of at the same level, striving for the same thing.
So if you see a former Seton Hall player, you got kind of give him the eyes, like
yeah, I played. So we played Roden, Jay Roden.
Oh, okay,
and it was crazy. We played because he had just got traded or something. He got picked up by Motor City. So I think the same day we was playing them, they were playing like a noon game. Seton Hall either like the next day or something. So I was like, yo, who you got? He's like, oh, you know. So yeah, that was that's cool. I think he's the only Seton Hall guy in the G League right now that I know.
All right, Aaron. Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us, and we obviously hope you rooting for you. We hope you do well in the G League, and we look forward to seeing the rest of your career play out. And I guess hopefully we'll have you back on in a little while. Check in with you, see how you're doing.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be around I'm in the Northeast, so I'll be around St. John's. So I'm sure I'll see you guys. Appreciate you having me, though.
We want to thank Aaron for coming on again. We really appreciate him joining us. And, it's great to see that he's succeeding in the G League. It's great to see that he's getting the opportunity he deserves from his good, solid college career. I mean, obviously, we didn't get to experience all 4 of them. He only came for his last year. But, he was the guy who was really explosive for us. 10 points a game, really, made a difference on offense when we needed it. He was a guy who was a hard player and a really key piece of our team last season. So it's nice to see that he's getting opportunities in the G League, and we wish him the best. All right, let's get into, I forgot to do Spotlight Player of the Week. I get a little discombobulated here without these guys here. Not usually so sloppy. But anyway, let's talk Big East Player of the Week. This one's a tough one. I mean, we had 2 guys have great weeks. And, I got to say, though, at the end of the day, I'm going to give it to our guy, Posh Alexander. He's our number 1 guy. I love Posh Alexander. I think he's a spectacular player. And he had a great week. I mean, 11 points against Georgetown, 18 points against UConn. I give honorable mention to AJ Storr, though. 20 points, played absolutely great against UConn. And then he also had 15 against Georgetown. Now, it was a close one, I have to say. When all the votes were counted, all 1 of the votes were counted, it was a close one. But I got to give it to Posh Alexander. 14.5 points average this week, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He made the Big East Weekly Honor Roll, and it's well-deserved. It really is the heart of this team. When he plays angry and he plays, with passion, he's really a sight to see. And that was certainly on display this week. So shout out to Posh Alexander for being the Spotlight Player of the Week. All right, looking ahead to the rest of this week, we only got 1 game. We play at Marquette Saturday, 2 p.m. That game on Fox in Milwaukee, if you're there. Marquette obviously is a monster. Number 6 in the country, currently sitting 26-4 on the season, 16-3. They've already locked up the regular season Big East championship. So they will be the 1 seed when it comes to the Big East tournament. They are led by Cam Jones. He averages 15 points a game. They've got 4 guys in double digits, though, and they've got really multiple guys off the bench who are going to come firing at you. It's Iguodala leads the team with 6 rebounds, 66% from the field for him as well. He'll be the guy that Joel Soriano is going to be up fighting against. And, he's going to have his hand full. Listen, to be honest, we're going to have our hands full with this team. Just to go back, the last time out against him, we actually played a pretty good game. We lost 96-85. We didn't have Andre Curbelo in that game, but we didn't perform pretty well. We didn't perform poorly, is what I was going to say. 51% from the field, 47% from three. Obviously, if we can keep those numbers up, it puts us in a good place. Now, listen, I don't have much hope against this Marquette team. They're sixth in the country, and they certainly deserve it. They've got a shot at being a 1 seed, to tell you the truth, if they win the correct games in the tournament. They certainly find themselves on the 1 seed line, and that's what they're playing for. So just because they wrapped up the regular season championship, I don't expect them to take the game off against us, which is unfortunate. I expect them to come out full swing, ready to go, and it's going to be an uphill battle. I mean, it really is. Going back to our last matchup with them, just talking about our guys a little bit, Soriano had a double-double, no surprise there. Wusu had a 20-point game, 21 points for him, really good. David Jones was in double digits, and then Posh Alexander also in double digits. He came off the bench in that game. It's really we're going to need those guys to beat this team. We're really going to need our main core, Soriano, Storr, Wusu, and Posh. If they're in double digits and we're in the same shooting category we were against Marquette the first time, you never know what could happen. I mean, I know it's an extremely positive outlook, but you never know. I mean, all you can do against a team like Marquette is hope to put yourself in a place where they can make enough mistakes for you to win. They're that good of a team that, unless they make mistakes, you're not going to beat them. Right? We're not going to match up with them head on and beat them on talent alone. We just can't. This team just can't. And it's unfortunate to say that, but that's just the way it goes. But we are talented enough that if we put ourselves in the right place at the right time, we can beat them. I mean, we can beat anybody, right? We beat UConn when they were sixth in the country. We've routinely beat teams, Providence, who we weren't supposed to beat. We can always beat anybody if we're in the right situation. And the last time we played against them, we played well enough to do that. Obviously our second matchup against UConn didn't go how we wanted. Maybe the second matchup against Marquette will go differently. The interesting part about this matchup is that if we were to win on the Wednesday of the Big East tournament, we would face off against Marquette again in their first Big East tournament game. So theoretically, we could play them. For them, we could play them in back-to-back games, but that requires us to win an additional game, which I'll talk about where we're going to be seated, most likely, in a minute. But, what can I say? The key to winning this game, I would say, do everything right we possibly can and hope for the best. I mean, I know that's kind of a silly way to say it, and it sounds a little bit like a cop-out, but I don't have a perfect strategy for beating Marquette because they're so good. And I know the other teams in the Big East are good too, but they are so talented. And surprisingly so, they weren't projected to be the number 1 team in the Big East. But Shaka Smart has them in prime fashion, ready to rock and roll. And I just, it's going to be a rough game, I would assume, on Saturday. So let's just hope our guys go out, play the way they did last time, and put themselves in a place where if Marquette makes enough mistakes, we take advantage of it and can come away with a win. Last time out, it was Oliver Maxson's Prosper who killed us, absolutely killed us. 29 points for him. It was the second most points in the game for him this season. But they had 4 of their 5 starters in double digits, and that's their average. So, we've got to play strong defense in this game because otherwise these guys can score. And they can score well and quickly. So that's pretty much our only key here is shooting threes well. We did it well against them last time, so we got to repeat that. Do better on rebounding than we did last time against them. We were even in rebounding. We got to out-rebound them. And turnovers. Keep our turnovers low. I know that's kind of our recipe for victory always, but this is a team that, like I said, is extremely talented and playing extremely good basketball. So they are currently the 1 seed, and they've locked that up. They've won the Big East regular season championship. Now, just to talk about the Big East a little bit, obviously next episode will be our Big East tournament show, but we do find ourselves in the 8th spot currently, ahead of Butler. Just to remind you, the Big East bracket on Wednesday, now that with 11 teams, 8 plays the 9 at 3 p.m., 10 plays the 7 at 5:30, and then 11 plays the 6 at 8 p.m. We are locked in that matchup. We are actually locked in that matchup against Butler. They cannot be caught by DePaul. Butler currently has 6 wins in conference, but DePaul has 3. Now, Butler could flip with us. We could be the 9 seed if they win and we lose, but it doesn't really make a difference because either way, we're playing 3 o'clock on Wednesday in that 8-9 game, and then the winner of that will play the number 1 seed at noon on Thursday. So that's where our Big East seed is at. Just to give you a look at the Big East standings here, kind of in the middle of the week, Marquette the 1, they're locked in. The real battle here is Xavier, Providence, Creighton, and UConn to a lesser extent. The 2 through 4 is all open. Xavier has 14 wins in conference, Providence has 13, Creighton has 13, UConn has 12. So they're all in the mix there for the 2 through 5. UConn to a lesser extent because they would have to win. I guess they could flip with somebody. If Creighton or Providence loses, they could move 1 spot up. Villanova has 10 wins. Seton Hall has 9. Seton Hall most likely locked into the 10 after their loss against Villanova. I guess if Villanova lost, they could flip. I don't know the tiebreaker against Villanova and Seton Hall, but they're most likely going to find themselves playing on Wednesday as well. Seton Hall will, I would say. Anyway, so that's it. I know it's a kind of a short episode, and you got just me. But hopefully we had some fun. We looked back at what was an up and down week and root for a big Marquette win. I would be happily surprised on Saturday. That'll do it for this week. I'm Vincent. Go Johnnies. Keep chasing.